Hey there, my handsome and pretty little Cobras, and welcome back to the Cobra's Nest. For those of you who are new, my name is Mignon Cobra and I make minimalism videos. So today's minimalism video is going to be this spicy title, which is being a minimalist is easier when you have money. So without further ado, let's just get into the video. Let's get it, let's go. Whew. Okay, so a little bit of background info. I've been a minimalist for I think almost 8 years. I've seriously lost track, but that has given me plenty of time to experience being a minimalist through many different phases of my life. I've been a minimalist since I was a student, and now that I'm a working adult, I can definitely see that a lot of things that I struggled with as a minimalist when I was a student and didn't really have a lot of money was really difficult, and it's actually a lot easier now that I have a lot more disposable income. So I'm actually going to be talking about 3 points today. First one is going to be talking about this whole idea of like not having a bag or limited amount of bags. The second one is going to be only buying the best, and the third one is going to be having a lot of empty space and how having money makes these things easier. Number one, not having a bag. I remember when I first read this tip, I was still a student at the time and I tried it, and that's how I ended up with one of my best videos ever, which was my purse was a plastic bag. I threw my knapsack and all my luxury bags in the garbage, and I started using a plastic bag as a bag because of this principle, because I heard to be a good minimalist you shouldn't have a bag, and I know that clearly I wasn't doing things right, but I was very young at the time and very inexperienced, and I don't think minimalism was as popular back then or mainstream as it is now, so there wasn't really that much information at the time either. The first year of me being a minimalist, I did this mistake, and life was really difficult, and I also felt really guilty when I felt I needed a different type of bag to carry things. Like if I had a knapsack and I had like a lunch bag, I would feel absolutely terrible because I felt like I wasn't being a good minimalist because I couldn't make everything function by just like having one bag. And what I want to say now is that I have like the world's puniest bags. If you guys seen my Coach bag, it's very small, and that is something that is not something that could have been possible when I was still a student. When I'd have to go to class or take the subway or carry my lunch with me, I would not be able to have everything fit inside a tiny bag. And I want to say that I think the difference primarily is it's a money thing. Now I don't have to carry around my lunch because like I could buy my lunch. I don't have to carry around my books or stuff like that because I'm a working individual. I could put it on my laptop. I don't have to carry all of my books. If I want to buy food, I just carry my credit card with me and I just buy food. When I was a student, that was not an option. I work from home, so I don't need a bag, and I have a car, so I don't need, to have a bag with me. And I've become kind of aware that sometimes maybe certain things, I mean, it could be a life thing, could have been just a student thing, but it could have also just been a money thing. Okay, number two, buying the best. So when I was a broke student, I still did try to the best of my ability to follow this minimalism tip. I felt like since I wasn't buying a lot, maybe I should follow this tip and buy the best, and I really couldn't afford to, that I still did it, and it did pay off in that sense. If you guys have seen, I still have all of my high school clothes with me because I did buy a lot of expensive stuff. I bought like Aritzia, I bought a Mac, I bought Lululemon, and like it paid off. I still have them. Was it a smart financial thing to have done? Absolutely not. I definitely do not recommend it. If I could go back in time, I wouldn't have done it. But I think that when I became more well off currently, like last year and stuff like that, where I definitely have a lot more disposable income, I started hoarding a lot of my money and I started making really cheap choices, and those cheap choices made me realize that buying the best is actually probably the better option. And hear me out, when I was buying stuff from like Walmart, the plastic stuff or the little balls would pill and like the material would fall apart, and when you'd wash it, it would get so coarse and so ruined and lose its shape. But like let's say if one cost $15 and the other one cost $30, for the price of two, I could have just got the other one. Like by the time the other one ruined and I went to Walmart again and bought the second one for the same amount of money, I could have just gone to Aritzia. So it just kind of opened my mind to realize that I guess I had done it right in the beginning. I financially shouldn't have, but the results were good. I think that buying the best is probably easier, as a minimalist when you have money than when you don't, because the result in the end is better when you buy less and buy twice as nice. Okay, and number three, lots of empty space. So when I had a lot of empty space in my life, it didn't feel necessarily the greatest, and it wasn't out of choice. It was because I really didn't have money to buy a lot. I didn't have a lot of money, so I didn't own a lot, and that didn't quite have the same feeling as an intentional minimalist. So like now that I'm older and still, a minimalist, I'm a lot happier in having less, but because I choose it to be so. And I feel like I've owned enough, and I feel satisfied, and I feel like it comes from a place of me being able to afford to buy something and having that choice, as opposed to it being imposed on me from like a financial limitation. So I think for me personally, I kind of have discovered that certain aspects of minimalism, maybe some of the reasons why they were difficult for me was because it was coming from a financial place rather than I'm not a good enough minimalist place. And I don't know if this could help anybody out, because I have seen that some of my videos that talk about minimalism and money have really resonated with a lot of individuals. So I just kind of wanted to offer my perspective that I found that being a minimalist for me personally was a lot easier when I had money as opposed to when I was struggling. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that it resonated with you, or at least gave you some food for thought, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.